Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and good afternoon. My name is Nabil Habib, and together with my group mates Miss Hanina Harun and Muhammad Ramsi Miknad, we are the Group 4 presenters. We are tasked to report on staffing in organizations. Let us have the definition of staffing. According to Coombs and O'Donnell, the managerial functions of staffing involves manning the organizational structure through proper and effective selection, appraisal, and development of personnel to fill the roles designed into the structure. According to McFarland, staffing is a function by which the managers build an organization through the recruitment, selection, and development of individuals as capable employees. Staffing is the process of filling positions or posts in the organization with adequate and qualified personnel. It is also said that staffing is a process of acquiring, deploying, and retaining a workforce of sufficient quantity and quality to create positive impacts on organizations' effectiveness. Staffing also refers to the process of filling an open position by hiring new employees or by reassigning persons already employed. Now, why do we need staffing? We need staffing to understand all functions of employees in an organization. Secondly, to understand manpower planning so that people are available at right time and at the right place. And of course, to understand issues related to job analysis and to overcome the problem. Staffing is important in discovering and obtaining competent employees for various jobs. It is also important to improve the quantity and quality of output by putting right man for right job. Through staffing, satisfaction of employees improves, and of course, it reduces cost of personnel by avoiding wastage of human resources. Now let's move on to the staffing process. There are 8 processes of staffing. Firstly, we have manpower planning or requirements, recruitment, selection, placement and orientation, training, remuneration, performance management, and promotion and transfer. Now let's talk on the first process, which is the manpower planning or requirements. In this first process, the requirements of the employees are being determined. These are the types of employees and the number of employees. Here in this first process, there is also what we call manpower planning process. These are analyzing the current manpower inventory, making future manpower forecasts, developing employment programs, and designing training programs. Before a manager makes forecast of future manpower, the current manpower status has to be analyzed. For this, the following things have to be noted. First, the type of organization. Second is the number of departments. Third is number and quantity of such departments. And fourth is the employees in these work units. Once the factors affecting the future manpower forecasts are known, planning can be done for future manpower requirements. The manpower forecasting techniques commonly employed by the organizations are as follows. First, expert forecasts. Second, trend analysis. We also have workload analysis, workforce analysis, and there are also other methods. Once the current inventory is compared with future forecasts, the employment programs can be framed and developed accordingly. These include recruitment, selection procedures, and placement plans. And the fourth manpower planning process is designing training programs. Training programs will be based upon extents of diversification, expansion plans, development programs, and others. Training programs depend upon the extent of improvement in technology and advancement to take place. It is also done to improve upon the skills, capabilities, and knowledge of the workers. Let's move on to the second staffing process, which is recruitment. Recruitment means to estimate the available vacancies in the organization and to make arrangements for their selection and appointment. It is a positive function in which publicity is given to the jobs available in the organization, and interested candidates are encouraged to submit applications for the selection. And according to Edwin Flippo, recruitment is the process of searching for prospective employees and stimulating them to apply for jobs in the organization. In the recruitment, a pool of eligible and interested candidates is created for the selection of most suitable candidates. And the sources of recruitment may broadly be divided into various categories. These are the internal sources and external sources. And of course, there are numerous examples of these sources: transfers, promotions, employee referrals, layoff circulars, notification, extension of services. Informal search are examples of internal sources. While factory gate hiring unsolicited applicants, job portals such as jobstreet.com perhaps, educational institutions, public employment exchange, labor contractors, and many others are examples of external sources. Both internal and external sources have advantages and disadvantages. Internal sources are economical, suitable, reliable, and satisfying, while external sources have wide choice. The organization also enjoys injection of fresh blood, and there is motivational force and long-term benefits. But both are expensive, time-consuming, demotivating, and there is uncertainty. Internal sources are economical. The cost of recruiting internal candidates is minimal. No expenses are incurred on advertising. They are also suitable. The organization can pick the right candidates having the requisite skills. The candidates can choose a right vacancy where their talents are be fully utilized. They are also reliable. The organization has knowledge about the suitability of a candidate for a position. They are also satisfying. A policy of preferring people from within offers regular promotional avenues for employees. It motivates them to work hard and earn promotions. They will work with loyalty, commitment, and enthusiasm. But on the other hand, internal sources are expensive. Hiring costs could go up substantially. Tapping multifarious sources of recruitment is not an easy task either. They are also time-consuming. It takes time to advertise, screen, to test, and to select suitable employees. They are also demotivating. Existing employees who have put in considerable service may resist the process of filling up vacancies from outside. The feeling that their services have not been recognized by the organization forces them to work with less enthusiasm and motivation. And there is uncertainty. There is no guarantee that the organization ultimately will be able to hire the services of suitable candidates. It may end up hiring someone who does not fit and who may not be able to adjust in the new setup. External sources, you have wide variety of choices. The organization has the freedom to select candidates from a large pool. Persons with requisite qualifications can be picked. There's also an injection of fresh blood. People with special skills and knowledge could be hired to stir up the existing employees and pave the way for innovative ways of working. There is also motivational force. It helps in motivating internal employees to work hard and compete with external candidates while seeking career growth. Such a competitive atmosphere would help an employee to work to the best of his abilities. There is also long-term benefits. Talented people could join the ranks. New ideas could find meaningful expression. A competitive atmosphere would compel people to give of their best and earn rewards. But the same as the internal sources, they are also expensive, time-consuming, demotivating, and there is uncertainty. There are also alternatives to recruiting. These are overtime, subcontracting, temporary employees, and employee leasing. And of course, there is also outsourcing. The third process is selection. It is a process of picking individuals who have relevant qualifications to fill jobs in an organization. Selection is much more than just choosing the best candidate. It is an attempt to strike a happy balance between what the applicant can and wants to do and what the organization requires. The selection process is as follows. First is reception. A warm, friendly, and courteous reception extended to candidates with a view to create a favorable impression. Employment possibilities are also communicated honestly and clearly. The second is screening interview. The HR department tries to screen out the obvious misfits through this courtesy interview. A prescribed application form is given to candidates who are found to be suitable. The third is application blank. It is a printed form completed by job aspirants detailing their educational background, previous work history, and certain personal data. The next is selection tests. Selection tests are increasingly used by companies these days because they measure individual differences in a scientific way, leaving very little room for individual bias. The next is selection interview, and there are types of selection interviews. These are the non-directive interview, the directive or structured interview, the situational interview, the behavioral interview, the stress interview, and the panel interview. After selection interview, there is medical examination. This is to check the physical fitness for the job concerned, and sometimes it is done to protect the organization from infectious diseases. And after that, there is reference checking. Here, contacting previous employers of a job applicant to determine his or her job history. Reference check may also include checking with schools or colleges attended by the applicant to verify educational qualifications. And finally, last but not the least, is the hiring decision. Let's move on to the fourth process, which is the placement and orientation. During the placement and orientation, employees are made aware about the mission and vision of the organization, the nature of operation of the organization, policies and programs of the organization. The main aim of conducting orientation is to build up confidence, morale, and trust of the employee in the new organization so that he becomes a productive and an efficient employee of the organization and contributes to the organizational success. The nature of orientation program varies with the organizational size. For example, the smaller the organization, the more informal is the orientation, and the larger the organization, the more formalized is the organizational program. There are two types of orientation. There is general orientation and specific orientation. In general orientation, new employees are being informed about the company's goals, history, philosophy, procedures, and rules. It should also include relevant staffing policies and maybe even a tour of the facility usually. While the specific orientation familiarizes employee with the goals of the work unit, clarifies how his or her job contributes to the unit's goals, and includes an introduction to his or her new co-workers. Fifth process is training. According to Michael Armstrong, training is a systematic development of knowledge, skills, and attitudes required by an individual to perform adequately a given task or job. And according to Dale Beach, training is the act of increasing knowledge and skills of an employee for doing a particular job. Training has a number of benefits. These include improving employee performance, updating employee skills, avoiding managerial obsolescence, preparing for promotion and managerial succession, retaining and motivating employee, creating an efficient and effective organization, improves morale of employees, less supervision, fewer accidents, chances of promotion, increased productivity. While the methods of training are two, these are on-the-job training and off-the-job training. On-the-job training methods are those which are given to the employees within the everyday working of a concern. It is a simple and cost-effective training method. The employees are trained in actual working scenario. The motto of such training is learning by doing. While off-the-job training methods are those in which training is provided away from the actual working condition. It is generally used in case of new employees. Instances of off-the-job training methods are workshops, seminars, conferences, and others. Such methods are costly and are effective if and only if large number of employees have to be trained within a short time period. Now let's move on to remuneration, which is the sixth process. Employee remuneration simply refers to the reward or compensation given to the employees for their work performances. Remuneration provides basic attraction to an employee to perform job efficiently and effectively. The seventh process is performance management. It is defined as an ongoing process of identifying, measuring, and developing the performance of the employees in the organization. Its main objective is to focus on employee performance and direct their efforts towards achieving the business goal of the organization. There are different methods of performance appraisal. These are written essays, critical incidents, graphic rating scales, behaviorally anchored rating scales, multi-person comparisons, objectives, and 360-degree feedback. Now finally, the last but not the least, promotion and transfer. Promotion is said to be an incentive in which the worker is shifted to a higher job with higher salary and demanding bigger responsibilities, as well as there may be cases of shifting the workers and transferring them to different work units and branches of the same organization. This is called transfer. Now that ends my report on staffing in organizations. And now let us hear from my group mates. Thank you.